In Sydney's south, locals say these Norfolk Island pines put the grand in the grand parade. But they're also in the way of the $1 million views. How many trees have been poisoned?
In the last 3 years, we've had 139 trees on public land.
It's really short-sighted and it's just mean-spirited.
Incidents of tree vandalism are on the rise right around the country. These signature palm trees in Melbourne's St Kilda were set alight 2 months ago.
An arson probe is underway after St Kilda's famous palm trees went up in flames.
And in Perth, tree vandalism is so common, it costs the city up to $100,000 a year.
Mindless vandalism in our CBD that the City of Perth's hoping to give the axe.
People vandalise trees for a number of reasons. Sometimes it's just pure greed by developers that want to maximise the benefits of developing a piece of land.
And sometimes it's property owners wanting a better outlook.
It's not doing harm to anyone. There are spaces between the trees that people can still see the view, still get the ocean. Why would you want to poison a tree?
Very self-absorbed and selfish, to be perfectly honest with you.
Mayor for Bayside, Bill Saravinovsky, is fed up. So what do you say to them?
Don't do it, because if they do chop down a tree, we'll plant 2 or 3 other trees.
Last year at Castle Cove on Sydney's North Shore, 265 trees were killed, allegedly to make way for sweeping views. It's a case still under investigation.
We haven't had any CCTV footage or decent eyewitnesses come forward, unfortunately, that have given us enough proof so far.
3,600 square metres of habitat destroyed, but holding anyone to account can be difficult.
We've got to find the evidence so we can convict them. And we're reliant on our community to sort of be a bit more vigilant.
They're worried that if they report them, they will then become the target of the people that have carried out the act of vandalism or removal. And that's a legitimate fear.
I didn't want to get involved. One of them came and threatened me.
Layla witnessed such an event. She asked for us to disguise her for fear of retribution.
It was unusual because they were wearing high-vis vests. Behind the car, they'd been drilling holes in the roots of the tree and putting poison in that.
Although that we do have the power to investigate, the fines are not that high. So if we do find that somebody is guilty, what they're charged with is not really commensurate with the crime itself.
Some of these trees are worth upwards of $40,000.
So if you're removing multiple trees, it doesn't take very long before you're talking about hundreds of thousands and in some cases millions of dollars of trees that have been vandalised and lost.
Although penalties contested in court can reach $1 million, councils are limited by how much they can fine people. In Sydney, the max is $3,000, Melbourne $3,800. Adelaide comes down to $1,250, Brisbane $774, and in Perth it's just $500. Has anyone ever actually faced $1 million penalty?
No, because the hardest thing we've got, Hamish, is to get evidence to get a successful prosecution.
In New South Wales, councils say they've approached Paul Scully, the Minister for Planning and Public Spaces, asking for higher penalties. But nearly a year on from the incident at Castle Cove, nothing has changed.
We are disappointed that there hasn't been any action to date, and we want the trees to be preserved as much as possible and don't want people to think that they can do it because it doesn't cost very much for them to do it.
In a statement, Minister Scully says people shouldn't be rewarded for illegally cutting down trees and that he hopes to have a stronger regime in place soon. For now, councils are fighting back by leaving dead trees where they are, planting more and installing banners, billboards and sometimes other creative means to restrict views. Like this, Bayside Council's response when dozens of trees were chainsawed for views. So for whoever did it, they didn't win.
Maybe next time we'll put a portrait of yourself.
You're not that desperate. No one needs that punishment. Thanks, Bill.
Really not much of a deterrent, those kind of fines, particularly if you've got a view and the value of your property increases exponentially if that is now an uninterrupted view.
Or if you're a developer and you're trying to develop something with views, obviously you can see the incentives there, given the size of the fines.
Yeah, they'd have to make it so that it yeah, if you felt like you were going to get caught, it would really need to sting, because otherwise it's just...
Because it's, what, $700 or something in Queensland? This is why I like this council's idea. Putting Hamish's mug up, like just a giant inflatable Hamish opposite the, you know...
the deterrent that's needed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, you think you'd move in and be like, hey...
You thought you were going to build an apartment building with views of the water. Now it's got a giant view of Hamish McDonald.